ask you this, because I was asking about the Palestinian recognition. Why do you think a growing number of nations, the nations we normally agree with, are recognising Palestinian statehood?
Tom, I never comment on the decisions of other countries or their political processes. But what I do is strongly back in Australia, our relationship with Israel, our determination to support Jewish Australians, to understand that, you know, the moral clarity on this that is missing from Anthony Albanese needs to shine through internationally right now. We have terrorists that are attacking the state of Israel. It's an existential threat. We have a Prime Minister who's flip-flopping all over the place, who's not showing strong leadership. I don't want to see a new normal of anti-Semitism in this country. But as I travel around, that's what's getting reflected back at me from Jewish students, from concerned families, afraid to actually acknowledge their faith. We can't allow Australia to sort of go to a new point where we accept this as the most passionately supportive multicultural country in the world. We need, the Prime Minister needs to stand up on this issue. As I don't know if it came through before I got cut off, Tom, but his statements around the International Criminal Court statement were pathetic because he said that he doesn't comment on court decisions, but in the same interview he commented on Julian Assange's decision. So he's not the leader that this country needs on this issue.
I want to ask you about immigration. A lot of talk of it after Peter Dutton's call. Can I just clarify? So the Coalition's pledge, it's a 25% cut on net migration, net overseas migration. That's in the next term compared to Labor's figures. So that's your overall cut. I know it'll work out different in different years, but that's the overall amount you'll cut net overseas migration by.
The Coalition, Tom, the Coalition will target a net overseas migration rate that is a quarter lower than Labor's ongoing. Now, it's important that, as you said, that there will be sharper cuts at the beginning. Well, we'll deliver what we deliver when we get into government. But that's an important point, because in 1 year, within 1 year, there will be an election. Australians need to know that under an Anthony Albanese government, you will have fewer homes for Australians, because you'll have a higher migration rate. Under a Peter Dutton government, there will be a lower migration rate and there will be more homes for Australians. In fact, there will be 100,000 more over the next 5 years. Now, that's hugely significant. I'm out in Western New South Wales in my electorate. Everywhere I go, people are saying, we understand the pressures on housing. They're here, they're in the cities, they're all over this country. So just focus on 100,000 more homes than there would otherwise be under Labor.
For a lot of policy decisions, you get a plus side and a downside. The plus side, you'll talk up the housing. The downside, if you reduce migration that significantly, there would be a downgrade on growth, wouldn't there?
Well, growth that comes just off the back of migration is not the way this economy should be run. I didn't hear the Treasurer talk productivity at all. So, I mean, let's focus on homes for Australians, but let's similarly focus on making our Australian economy as productive as possible.
With that sort of
it's not a binary this versus that. We should be focusing on productivity, which principally means energy policy, industrial relations policy, a policy for manufacturing that isn't handouts that the government announced in its budget. We should be focusing on genuinely lifting the productivity of our firms across this country. And I haven't seen anything in the budget that allows for that to happen. So, you know, for critics to simply point to migration is overlooking the importance of, number one, homes for Australians, but number two, a proper plan that tackles inflation and reduces rising prices.